Look at that fine-looking gentleman. I'm here with Jim Rodriguez. You can find him at Jrod Show. You can find me, Ethan Skolnick, at Ethan J. Skolnick and at 5 Reasons Sports. Remember, if you're going to bet, which you should do, use busr.com backslash 5RSN, busr.com backslash 5RSN. That's where if you put down $100, you will get $100. That's right. This goes on throughout the finals here. We're going to focus there first, the NBA Finals, the Bucks and the Suns. What kind of numbers could you have gotten on that before this season started, especially on the Sun side? Would have been crazy. I think more people had the Bucks. I had the Bucks to win the championship when the playoffs started, so I'm still alive in that regard. I'm actually thinking of hedging it, although I'll tell you I like the Bucks better than the Suns in the series. But let's get to you here, Jim. What do you think?
Well, I'm just glad the NBA Finals are going to start so we can start talking about some basketball because this Finals has been crazy. All right, so we got game one tonight. Giannis is doubtful, so that has ballooned the Suns to laying 6.5 points. That is a lot of points, but I still like Phoenix, and here is why. Look at game one trends in this postseason. Phoenix has won every game one of this series against the Lakers, against the Nuggets, against the Clippers. While the Bucks, they did beat the Heat in game one, but they didn't cover, and then they lost outright to Brooklyn and Atlanta. So if that is a trend, and if that continues, then you would think Phoenix would win the game. Maybe a money line bet is something you want to hedge. 6.5 is a lot of points, but with a gimpy Giannis, I like that. But the one I like a lot is the Suns laying 3 first half. I'm really comfortable with that. I will go more units on that halftime bet than the full game laying 6.5. I just think that's a lot of points for a finals.
Yeah, I can see. I think 3 is sort of easily coverable here. Let's look at the series as a whole, though. The Suns, I was surprised. Maybe a lot of this is Giannis, but this is even before we knew he was doubtful because there were reports the last 48 hours that he would likely play in this game, and now it looks like he likely will not. But I was surprised that the Suns were such a significant favorite. Why is that? Because the Bucks before the season were considered to be a higher caliber team than the Suns. The Suns did beat, as you mentioned, 3 very good teams to get to the finals, but the Lakers weren't healthy. The Clippers, we know, were not healthy, and the Nuggets didn't have Jamal Murray, which I think finally caught up to them in that series. And of course, they lost Jokic in the final game. So just looking at that, why are the Suns such a big favorite, and do you still like them?
Well, I like them to win the series only because a couple things. It's home court, which is important, and now that we have fans back in the arenas, I think that's this isn't the bubble, that it isn't that sterile sort of environment. So I think that has something to do with it. I think the Suns are rested, something the Bucks not necessarily are, and I think Chris Paul. Again, if there's any more Chris Paul way to win a final, a hurt AD, a hurt Murray, a hurt Leonard, and a hurt Giannis, it's just Chris Paul on brand in this. And so the numbers reflect it. If you think this series, if you think the Suns are going to sweep this series, you're getting plus 750. Suns in 5 is plus 350. Suns in 6, which I don't really think the Bucks can win 2 games with a gimpy Giannis, is 4-1. Suns in 7 is plus 350. So if I think the series is going to go 5 games if Giannis is not 100%. So when you look at the series ends in 5, well, it's plus 240. Just doesn't matter who wins, plus 240, while it's plus 350 if the Suns win in 5. So I like that. And of course, the Bucks are astronomical. The Bucks are 11-1 if they win it in 5 games. Again, I think Coach Bud, there is that sort of the guy who's getting fired, even though he's got him to the final. So this may be another excuse. I just think it catches up to the Suns. I think DeAndre Ayton, he's sort of like a black sheep to win the MVP. He's a 20-1 to win the MVP. I think they're going to feed the big man. I think finally the Bucks are going to have somebody to counter their big man inside. I think the Suns are going to run away with this. I think it all catches up to Milwaukee. And plus, at the end of the day, it's always the last thing you saw, right? That's how we bet. We don't bet overall. We bet on the last thing we saw. And I think Phoenix has got all the momentum coming into this.
That's interesting. I do think that we could be seeing a little bit more of a breakout from Chris Middleton in this series. We saw some of. I think he's taken another mini leap here, and he could be the guy who, again, a lot of people tune in just for the finals. He may be the guy who's like, well, who's that? He's been All-Star a couple times, but I don't think people really recognize how good he can be, particularly in big moments. All right, let's get to some soccer, some football, as we call it. What do we got here, Jim?
Well, we got, first of all, tonight, we got a little Copa America semifinal. We've got Argentina and Colombia. Great destinations to travel. We got Messi. We got Argentina playing out of their mind. This is pure chalk in this semifinal. The winner plays Brazil, by the way, in the final of Copa America. Copa America is sort of a World Cup between the South American countries. Argentina's won 4 in a row. Colombia has won 1 in the last 5 games. Colombia doesn't have their star, James Rodriguez, Lionel Messi doing his thing. So I'm going straight chalk in this game, although this will be a defensive battle. Colombia has to play defensive, maybe try to get extra time, sneak a goal in, maybe even try to get this to penalties. The one I love in this is over 1.5 goals. Any team, any game that features Lionel Messi and it's over 1.5, I'm going to take it. It's losing money in all this, but I'll go Argentina minus 113 on the money line. Over 1.5 goals, minus 196. And I even like Argentina laying 0.5 goal at 116. Argentina cruises on this, and they'll be playing Brazil in a classic Copa America final. So that's Copa America. Now let's go to the Euros and the game that is going to happen, or the fixture. I don't want Chris Whittingham yelling at me. The fixture that is tomorrow for the second half of the final. Denmark, the Danes, they've come out of nowhere to get to the semifinal, and they're facing England. Now, here's the thing about England. England, they're kind of like the Cubs, or used to be like the Cubs, okay? The last time England won a semifinal match in a major tournament was 1966 in the World Cup, okay? They just can't get it done. The game's in Wembley. It's literally a home game for the Three Lions. Here's the money bet for this. Over 2.5 goals. Now, I know England hasn't allowed a goal the entire Euro, this tournament, but it's England. They're going to make them sweat to get to the final. I like a 2-1 final on this. Over 2.5 goals plus 127. I think that's the best bet there. And that's tomorrow afternoon to see to get to the final of the Euros. I like England, and I like the over 2.5 goals in that.
All right, so go to busr.com/5RSN. Again, that's busr.com/5RSN. Get that $100 back when you deposit $100. It's basically like free money, right? That's the way we look at it. Jrod and I will be back with you soon. Again, make sure you're betting at busr.com/5RSN.